Joe Biden had one of his Bidenisms yesterday, and it had to do with the black community. We're going to show you the clip in just a second. And his apology, because he had to roll it back in the wake of attacks by Donald Trump for the things that he said.
No, but most people don't know. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
No, don't do that. What?
Don't do that. That's the answer. The answer is don't do that.
Don't, man. Don't. I saw Ben Dixon tweeted in reply to the original video. He was like, someone who loves Joe Biden needs to take him, and they need to bring him down to the basement. And they need to put so many locks on that door that he can't come out until after the election.
Yeah, but that's where it's broadcasting from, by the way.
No! Look, so we're gonna have his follow-up to that. It's not just that you didn't express your thought clearly, there's no good interpretation of that.
There is.
What?
The good interpretation is that, politically speaking, CNN, Fox News, Democratic analysts, they all think of the Latino voting bloc as one single bloc. And it is the dumbest thing you can. It's one of the dumbest things you can do. The only thing dumber is phrasing it the way that Joe Biden did. But that is a thing that is very real. And people as deep into the administration as Stephen Miller's wife is like, trying to say, I don't know why we need Little Havana. It's like, do you know who's in Little Havana? People who fled Castro. Mm-hmm. So you do need that, especially in Florida, because the Latino vote in Florida, more so probably 30 years ago and less so now, but still by a huge margin, votes in a way that is different than Californian immigrants of Latino heritage. Yes. But what you don't understand in that, especially to underscore what was stupid about Joe Biden's point, is within the Cuban immigrant community, there is racism of, Afro-Cubans versus like Spanish white Cubans. Mm-hmm. And so there are many needless things that he did. One of them is needlessly comparing the diversity of communities and saying that one of them just isn't. He did say, with certain notable exceptions, he is technically accurate that, as we are saying, sir, there are notable exceptions to the stupid thing you said. Mm-hmm. So yes, technically you could parse what he said in a way that makes more sense. However, your job as a politician, which you've had since you were, 29 years old?
Yeah.
Is to not say things that way. Is to maybe understand the fundamental differences, like black voters vote. There's like 9% vote Republican and 29% of Latino voters vote Republican or something like that. But within that are the exact diversity issues of like black Latinos that you're implying in your wording are not really notable exceptions.
I know, it just, okay. I don't know that I necessarily followed exactly, but you said you can parse it in a way that's doesn't work in politics, as you noted. You can't expect that people are going to technically parse something because they're not. It's just, every community is incredibly diverse. Don't imply that any community isn't diverse. Even if people who check a box as black vote overwhelmingly in one direction, that doesn't mean that they all do so for the same reasons, at the same exact rates. When broken down by age, there can be a lot of difference. Certain issues can be emphasized more. It's just, there's a million types of diversity, and it's just such a, don't.
And he's right. And he's right that black people who are here due to slavery in America and its legacy don't get to say, I'm Cuban. They don't get to say, I'm Nigerian, I'm from Sierra Leone, I'm from all these different countries, because they don't know. That was robbed from so many Americans. They're literally like Washingtons and Jeffersons, and I'm saying that with an apostrophe. Like they were not able to be considered human beings. And that is a tragedy that implies a shared experience that through, what is the American sin is still relevant today for a large portion of black people. However, dude, that's not how, when, why you say that.
Just don't.
I just pulled my earphones out because I'm so disappointed. But it's Joe Biden, man. Joe Biden. I said this on the show, on May show yesterday, where it's like he's the guy who said you can't go into, it jokingly, we're all friends here. You can't go, and I'm trying to appeal to South Asian people. You cannot go into a Dunkin' Donuts without a slight Indian accent. Like, he thought we were all being buds here. And that's Joe Biden. And it takes people with, who grew up with white grandparents to be like, this is what they mean. They don't mean bad. You know what I mean?
I get, yeah. And he said, someone, I think Cat Tower in the comments reminded us, remember I think it was, you ain't black if you don't vote for me? No,
yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Who do you want to hear talk about race less, Trump or Biden? For very different reasons, possibly, or at least variations on reasons. I don't want to hear either of them ever talk about it.
Yeah.
God, these debates.
But like, yeah, I mean, I heard the extended version. Did you hear the extended version of what he said on the NPR clip?
Feel free. I'm going to give his update in a second, but what's the extended
version? The extended version was specifically what I was referencing. He's like, there's a difference, but there's a difference between, what we would classify as a Latino voter in Florida versus a Latino voter in Arizona. But as I also said on the show, like in the census, when people answer those questions on a census, it is itself confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you said it too, like when you check a box as black, but then there's like, it has been traditionally divided as like Latino white, Latino not white, white, but it's all under white. It's very strange.
And you're combining some things that are sort of language dependent ancestries with some things that are social constructs that change over time with no wonder people get confused. So anyway, let's get a little bit of his... first, the attacks. Donald Trump immediately launched into it because Donald Trump is not going to take someone saying something offensive about non-white Americans. Did you watch that clip? Joe Biden this morning, he totally disparaged and insulted the black community. What he said is incredible. I don't know what's going on with him, but it was a very insulting statement he made. I guess you'll figure this out. You'll see it in a little while. It was a great insult to the black community. And then he tweeted today, after yesterday's statement, Sleepy Joe Biden is no longer worthy of the black vote. Wait, so he believes he was worthy before it? That doesn't make sense. Anyway, what Biden said in response to all of the criticism, which is very merited. Earlier today, I made some comments about diversity in the African-American and Latino communities that I want to clarify. In no way did I mean to suggest that the African-American community is a monolith, not by identity, not on issues, not at all. Throughout my career, I've witnessed the diversity of thought, background, and sentiment within the African-American community. It's this diversity that makes our workplaces, communities, and country a better place. It goes on to say, my commitment to you is this. I will always listen. I will never stop fighting for the African-American community, and I will never stop fighting for a more equitable future. So the real difference is, okay, his comments aren't as bad as Trump's, but you'll get follow-up comments that are good. That's the difference, I guess, is you'll still have the racial blunders and offensive statements and misunderstandings, but the follow-up will be PR approved rather than retweeting a QAnoner.
Right, exactly. Or a demon semen doctor. Like, come on. But and that's the thing is, every time there's a statement like this, you get someone within Washington, too, saying, I've known Joe Biden for 50 years. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in terms of, you talked about earlier about trying to convince them that he's not, like Rust Belt Joe or whatever. Some of this is baked in and it's going to be hard for them to move. So there was just a poll. Let's take a look at this. Question is, do you think each of the following is biased against black people? So for Donald Trump, the yes is biased is 87% of the population. For Joe Biden, it's 17% of the population. That's among the black community. Among U.S. adults, it's 57% for Donald Trump because of course, some white conservatives aren't going to agree to that, even though they know it, and in fact, they want it. And 31% of the population at large says that Joe Biden is. So big gaps there, and amongst black Americans, massive gaps. Not to say that it can't change, and that even a couple points change might not matter, but that's going to be a little bit more difficult one. When you have a politician that's been around for literally decades, that comes with a lot of bad baggage, but it also comes with sort of baked in opinions baggage, some of it not negative.
Yep, with you.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.